acting like this because when you search spirituality, you're sure of yourself. You don't care who's watching because you know what you have to do, not what the other person may think you have to do or what you have to be. And if you watch Mike Tyson podcast, he would tell you this all the time.
That's such a good podcast, man. Hot boxing with Mike.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I forgot who he had on. I think it was Lil Boozy. He had him on. And he said, we create this persona. Lil Boozy went to jail. Mike Tyson, he's supposed to be this animal.
Yeah.
But later on in life, it's 40-something years later, he realized this is not who I'm supposed to be. People want me to be this scary guy because I'm a fighter, but I'm actually a nice guy. So,
do you have that? Do you think that's a large part with dealing with the ego and like the death of the ego for them to get to that point?
You have to destroy ego, because I destroyed my ego a long time ago because it had me thinking that I'm better than the next person.
Yeah.
We both live and die. We don't know when that time's going to come. The house you can't take with you. The cars you can't take with you. We live and die. So no matter how you want to come down to it, no much money you have, no nothing, we're still the same. So you have to eliminate ego to realize that. And some people still have their ego, so they will never be able to have this ideology in their head.
I think that in the realm of when things start to get competitive, like for example, being like a rapper, and like an athlete, like a boxer, I think that ego, they're literally fed by their ego. It's just like, yo, I'm better than this person. I gotta take this person down. Or also, they ego, for the most part, what I noticed with somebody like, I don't know, like Mike Tyson, or like somebody like, I guess like Tom Brady, or late great Kobe Bryant, is just that mindset that they also don't want that feeling of somebody out there is putting in more work than them, that they're not the best. Like, you know what I mean? Definitely. And that has a lot to do with ego as well. And I wonder if somebody could be successful, like really, really successful without an ego and a competitive aspect. Because when it comes to spirituality, you look at everything as a oneness and everything is connected. But if you try to bring that in a competitive, it almost seems like that's literally not the place for it.
So I'm gonna tell you, some of these most successful people you're mentioning, they probably got rid of their ego, and I'm gonna tell you why. When you're competing, they compete on a different level. Like when you see normal people out here that's not famous, that's not playing football, that's things like that, they're competing against each other. You want to go to school to look better than the guy down the street. You want to have more than the guy down the street. They excelled on a different level, and I'm going to say this with emphasis. They compete within themselves. You have your body, your mind, and your consciousness. They're seeing how hard they can go each day compared to yesterday. When I wake up, dang, what did I do yesterday? Can I do it better today? When you compete against yourself, that's another level of excellence. That's ridiculous.
It's absolutely ridiculous. But at the same time, and you already know at this point that a lot of people should be on that type time. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Because like I talk about this a lot, but you come into this world by yourself and you leave by yourself. It's that simple. So with that being said, your goal should be self-mastery throughout this whole entire journey. You should be looking at every single aspect of how can I be a better version of myself today, just like you said with yesterday, with the mindset that these dudes have. But the discovery that you make within yourself, and you start to understand what you don't like, what you do like, what you into, what you're not into.
Definitely.
But you can carry that on to other people, and other people, that energy to me vibrates off as somebody's going to start thinking in the individual aspect as well, but with the oneness of what's going on around us.
So the thing is that I don't know is when spirituality was taught to a lot of people, but this is why I think this podcast was so important, because we need to start teaching these things again. Like, for example, your parents don't tell you that you can be something great. Go ahead and do it. They tell you, go to school, walk this path, boom. I was watching Amon Shepard, and he said, if a kid picks up a camera, their parent would tell them, put it down. You don't know if that kid is going to be the most